Trigger warning, this talks about child abuse. What you're about to hear is a conversation I had with my mother today, April 21st, 2021, about the email that you're currently seeing. Now, the conversation explains the email, but what also happens during the conversation is my mother admits to lying to police officers, child protective services agents, and others, making it difficult, if not impossible, to investigate and or hold the people accountable about the same claims of abuse that she herself is making. Confusing, I know, which is why I have contacted police officers, mental health professionals, and many others in trying to find some way to figure out what to do. As it's not as if there are no negative consequences to my mother's actions. Anyway, if you happen to be a mental health professional or someone who has dealt with this in your own personal life and are able to give guidance or advice, please reach out. Without any other ado, here's the conversation. So basically, as I was going through shit, I realized. So I saw this old email from Natalie, right? Listening?
Yes, I am listening.
Okay. So I saw this old email from Natalie from basically a few weeks after Amelia was born, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. I just want to keep it to a kind of straight to the point kind of thing, but it's kind of the whole thing is kind of weird. Anyway, so
I'm working, so I just want to make sure that I get back to you. That's all.
No, I understand, but it is an important thing that I forgot about. It's important in a lot of different ways, but that's the whole thing. It's important in a lot of different ways. So that's why I want to talk to you about it. So basically, the whole email, right? The email lists everybody she basically knows. So you know how like I've been telling you, like I don't know anything about Natalie in the sense of like I really don't know any about like any of her friends or anything about her, which is true, in the sense of it's true, right? But when Amelia was born, right? Because it like I said, it's kind of complicated. There's a couple different things going on. When Amelia was born, you know how like she had made that Facebook for me, and I didn't know, and then I did know, and then I was on Facebook. So because I was on Facebook and like Amelia was born, right? She had people, she had like friends on Facebook and things like that, right? And I didn't I didn't fucking care about it, whatever. But what I did care about was, people are saying, congratulations about, the baby or whatever. And I have no idea who these people are because, like, as far as I've known, you don't, like, there's nobody in your life, you know what I mean? And so what Natalie did was she wrote that fucking email. And that email is just, like, is literally bullet point every single person and why she knows them and how she knows them and whatever, right? The thing is, that email, why it's complicated is for two different things. One is, that's not odd for Natalie to do in the sense of like the way we communicated. It wouldn't be odd for her to write me an email like that, right? But it would be.
I don't know, Charlie.
I'm telling you that. It's not. This is something that you have to know. There's not. I'm telling you that.
Okay.
So it's not odd for her to have written me a bullet point email like that. Like that's how we communicated in the sense of like very. It's not odd for her to communicate with me that way. What was odd was that she did that because that's not at all I was asking for or what was necessary or like what was implied or like, you know what I mean? Like what I can say about it. So there's like two things involved with it. One of them is that was really one of the first, that was one of the symptoms to me of what is going on with Natalie. This is odd behavior mental health wise. You know what I mean? Like it's just not mental health wise. It makes no sense for her to have written that email the way she did because normally we would just discuss it and it would be just as fine. But at the time too, the thing is, what also it is también is I was working. And I was working and she wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird, but it's not weird. But it is for, like, I know for me, when it happened, outside of everything else, it was one of the first times that I was like, this doesn't make any sense. It's like she's acting like a different person. But outside of all that is the fact, like, I just realized, like, some of the people that she's mentioning, like, one of the persons that she's mentioning in that email is one of the reasons I reacted, I think, the way I did to the email in the first place, because one of the people is basically one of her abusers, one of her, like, child abusers, is the person who directed this film that she was in when she was a kid, and it was during that filming, from what she's told me, in which she was subjected to, sexual abuse.
And what's that person's name? What is that person's name?
Salome or something like that. Salami. Not salami. It's not salami, but it's like an S name. But the thing is, and that's the thing, it's like an S name. But that's also, like, related to the weird shit. Like I'm telling you, like with the poster shit, if like Natalie threw it out, one of the weird things that Natalie did make sure that she fucking gave me, I don't know why, was her videos of when she was a kid, when she was in those movies. She for some reason made sure to, like, when we separated or whatever, she made sure that those things were in my fucking things. That it's all fucking weird as it is. But the thing, so it's important because it's important, like, outside of everything else, outside of just, like, even just my opinions or thoughts of her mood disorder, whatever the fuck's happening, it does say who everybody is, as far as, like, what she's saying, you know what I mean? And, like, I can say for me, one of the issues that I'm having is that even going to you, nobody has addressed the fact that, as far as I know, Natalie doesn't know anybody, you know what I mean? And, like, so the thing is, too, is I never really, I guess, discussed it from this angle. When she had all that, number one, I never cared about her Facebook and anything like that, simply because we were together all the fucking time. There was no, it was, you know what I mean? So it was like, I knew what was happening, and I knew that there was nobody around, or if there was somebody around, it was very fucking odd, because we were together all the fucking time. So it didn't make any sense, you know what I mean, for me to be, like, all caring about Facebook. But at the same time, now I can see it as, wait a second, it looks like she has all these fucking people around in her life. Some of these people supposedly have been around, like, some of these, like, she has her fucking middle school teacher, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, as far as I understood, there was really no one that she ever wanted to be in contact with. So, like, some of this shit is, like, I should have addressed it at the time, except that, again, I didn't have any reason to think that shit was odd. The only thing that I thought was odd was the fact that she wrote that email. What really, the main point of it, too, is I tried to express that to multiple people outside of you that should have understood, whether it had been for the thoughts of her mood disorder or whatever's happening, or just very clear legal reasons. People shouldn't have disregarded the fact that I did mention to them that she gave me an outline of who everybody is in her life.
So, I understand where you're coming from. This is almost, it's going to be 10 years old soon. This is 9 years later. I could vouch for what
that's what makes it much odder. Again, like, you keep doing this thing when I bring things up, and what you're bringing up the dates, and all the dates do is what makes it actually much more important. If I was bringing this up in 2011, listen, but that's the whole point.
Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you. You're saying you're not listening. You're saying yourself, nothing's been done about it. And the fact of the matter is, something has to. I have brought this up before. I have let it go because I have seen it from different angles. And now I'm realizing it is odd, much more odder, that you yourself, and this is the problem, that I'm speaking to you. I'm not speaking to somebody who hasn't spoken to me about this subject. You have spoken to me about this subject. You have said that you have investigated or know who Natalie has around her. Well, the fact of the matter is, then that should be double checked by what she said. Doesn't matter when she said it. You're my mother, no matter when I say it. My middle school teacher is my middle school teacher, no matter when I say it. Like, this person who was a part of my life for this reason was part of my life for that reason, no matter when I say it. And that's the point. Right now, there are people that are supposedly either have been in her life or are even currently in her life that would have been in her life when we were together, that seem to have either no clue or understanding of me in existence, period. That doesn't make any sense. That is odd.
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
Talk to a lawyer. You like to talk to lawyers. You want to talk to a therapist? Talk to a therapist. But about this specifically. About this specifically. This is the situation. You have said to me that you believe Natalie to be a danger to Amelia. Do you or do you not believe that?
Of course, I got CPS involved.
Okay then. So then take it step by step. If that is the case, then this, whether or not the people that are in her life have or have not been involved in comparison to who you know as well. Because again, you're not naming people. That's what makes this difficult, because you have done things and now you're acting as if you don't know what to do. You have involved people in the past.
May I speak, please? May I speak? Because I need to get going. I have a lot of work to do. And only vouch for what I know.
No one's asking you to vouch for anything. This is the problem. Stop right there.
What do you want me to do?
Stop believing that anybody's asking you to vouch for anything. Nobody's asking you to vouch for anything other than yourself. The problem is that you are denying yourself right now. Right now, you are saying that you believe Natalie to be a danger to your granddaughter, and at the same time, you are preventing me from explaining to you how you can stop that danger. By moving forward from believing that everything starts and ends with you. It's not all about you. It's not about what you vouch for. It's about what others can vouch for, what others can do. Other people besides you. Like right now, I said a therapist, a lawyer. You said and do what? Fucking start talking. Period. My son has a list of people that a person who has a mood disorder wrote out. I am concerned about my granddaughter's safety. You, as a therapist or a lawyer, what do you believe should be done? Whatever they answer, then you write that answer down, and then we talk about it. Or you have me involved. Or you do something so that it can move forward. Other than talking, just listen to what they say, just like you should be listening to what I say. And if you're just listening, then all you would have to do is vouch for yourself, just like you could do in this phone call, and say, listen, me, myself, I have no idea what Charlie's saying, if it's true or not. But I do know he is saying that he has a list that was written by somebody who I believe to be a danger to my granddaughter. I would like to know, as a lawyer or a mental health professional, what you believe either I or him should do.
I asked for evidence, so can you forward me that email?
Again, the issue right now is that we don't need to go with more evidence other than your voice and your understanding. I am vouching for myself. I have confidence in it. I have no problem in it. You yourself, listen, again, you're not listening. You're talking way too quickly as if everything is solved in seconds. You want to do years worth of work in seconds. I'm asking you for minutes. It's all I'm doing. So please listen. The fact of the matter is, you yourself are aware of that list. That is a different problem. And again, yes, a different problem. A different problem. If you were perfectly fine and sane and there were no issues, then there would be no problem with the fact of the matter that you were aware of the list. We are moving past that point and just going on the present, which is you are now again made aware of the list. It doesn't matter if you were made aware of the list a million times before this point. You are still now aware of it. The problem has been, again, Focus on you. Focus on you.
You found an email with a list of people, and your request is that just based on a list that you that email.
You're not talking for yourself. You're not talking for yourself. You're not talking for yourself. Talking for yourself.
No, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. I want to make sure that I understand.
Those are separate problems. Those are separate problems. Again, those are separate problems. Trying to understand what I am saying and you speaking for yourself are two different things. You can speak for yourself to a therapist or a lawyer about this phone call without needing me to write it down, without needing a summary, without needing a script, and then, because you're not understanding fully, and then ensuring that you have a documentation that can be reviewed later so that there is no misunderstanding, or include me as you're getting the answer. In other words, say to the lawyer, before you even, listen, I have a question. Lawyer says, okay, I can answer the question. This is what I would charge for it. This is how you get the answer. And then you say, this is the issue. Listen, because these are just facts and just simple things. Then you would have to understand that if you want to actually protect your granddaughter, because you have tried in the past going to CPS, you have tried involving others. What you have not done is go to a lawyer and say, hey, lawyer, I have this question. The lawyer says, I can answer the question if you do these things. And then you say, I can do those things, but I need, listen, again, you're not listening. But you also need to be able to prove the things that the lawyer has said or the mental health professional has said. It is essential because that is the only thing that would be different from anything you've done. You have done many things and you believe yourself to be satisfied that there seems to be nothing that can be done. But that is incorrect because you can do something different. And the one thing that would be different, it doesn't have to be legal. This is just life. This is just getting through life. This is just getting through life. This is not about legal. This is just about how the fuck you get up in the morning. The one thing that would be different is something that would be different tomorrow. And the only thing that would be, the only thing for you is for you to actually have spoken to a therapist or a lawyer and demanded some way to document the answer they give you.
And what? So
the answer they give you, a receipt for the service they provided that actually states what you received by detail. In other words, not just I answered the question and the answer is 4. Not fucking I added 2 plus 2. No, I said the answer is 4. What you're getting are people telling you some fucking word problem of how they fucking came to the answer and not giving you the answer. Again, the difference that would be from today to tomorrow is you actually trying to get an answer that you can document for going forward so that when anybody asks you, what the fuck did you actually try, you don't have to say it. You could just show it.
I already have that.
Again, different fucking problems. Those are your problems. Not Amelia's, not mine. Those are yours. What's my problem? You know what's Amelia's problem? Again, explain to you the fact that you are getting answers from lawyers and mental health professionals that you cannot vouch for further than your word. We need something more than your word. I know that you believe that your word can be believed by everyone, but that's not facts. The facts are, as you state yourself, evidence.
I'm sorry. I have to go. I have to go. I recorded the conversation. I'll replay later. and I'll figure this out. Right now, I have to work.
Fine.
Okay, I have to work. Talk to you later.